What are the modifications that I need to make to this car before I drift across the world? Let me show you. Start from the front and work our way back. So underneath the bonnet, we have our M54 B30. This car is actually a 325, but it does have the 3-litre engine. So the biggest change that I think I'm going to make in here, and it's not really a change, it's just the cooling system. So I honestly don't think the BMW system there's anything wrong with it. I think that people don't change it. So it's an over 20-year-old car, so these things do happen. So I'm going to change pretty much everything to OEM, maybe going to change the radiator to a Mishimoto rad. If I break down on the road, if I break down in a different country, I'm trying to get the parts easily sourced. So I might be able to get them in a shop, I might be able to get them in someone's yard. So everything's going to be OEM, but newer. So that's the plan in the engine bay. So in drifting, we try to have more angle or more steering lock. So I'm trying to get a lock kit for this. The only problem with it is it has a tendency to have a lot of camber on the wheel, so the wheel, instead of being straight, is pointing in towards the car on the top. So it's going to have a lot of tire wear on the inside, and I don't really want that. So I'm trying to develop a lock kit, or trying to get some sort of adjustment on the top where I'll have like a road adjustment and then a track adjustment. So that's the plan here. We're trying to get an IRP lock kit, but some sort of top mount that can adjust is what I'm thinking. We'll make our way on the inside of the car next. Okay, so on the inside of the car, we'll start with the driver's seat. So already we have a Grip Royal steering wheel. So if you want to come on in and I'll show you the steering wheel. On the pedals, for some reason, on our clutch and brake, there is a bush, and the bush is a plastic bush, so it has a tendency to crack. So I'm replacing that with a brass bush. We're trying to make this car durable and reliable, so that will definitely help. Next thing to put in is our handbrake. So we have an IRP handbrake that's going to go in here. So if you can imagine, there's going to be a handbrake here. I was going to try get a little mount to put it here, but I just love the sensation of having the steering, your handbrake, and then your gears, so everything is nice and smooth. So the handbrake is going to go here, and then we have an IRP short shifter, which I hope to get, which is going to go in beside that. So that's kind of the whole driving side. I don't know whether to keep the standard seat in here or actually have a bucket seat. Probably a bucket seat to be able to bring passengers along in the car, but let me know what you think. Next, I'm going to put in a roll cage. Now the roll cage is very important to be able to get on most tracks and most drift days because of safety regulations. We don't want anyone kind of coming in on the door when we're tandem with each other, and anyone to be able to get past the sill to be able to hurt me or prevent me hurting anyone else. So cage is very important, but it needs to be a custom cage, and I will tell you why later on in the video. Okay. So as you can see, I already have my subframe in here. Now this subframe will obviously be put underneath the car, and I plan to have this all kitted out where I'm sleeping on the left side and have all my spares and all my clothes and cooking equipment on the right side. When drifting, drift cars have a tendency for when going sideways, the fuel sloshes to one side and then the fuel pump dries up, then putting the car into limp mode, and we don't want that to happen. So I need to come up with a way, maybe having either a 2-pump system or more likely having a swirl pot. And the swirl pot would basically, a pump would feed the fuel up to the swirl pot. The swirl pot is a small pot that fuels the car, so that pot will always be filled, therefore we won't have any fuel surges. And I don't want to fill the tank up with foam because I need as much fuel as possible. The other thing we're going to do in here is have a leisure battery as well as the battery then to be able to start the car and run all the electrics for the car. So I plan to have a leisure battery to be able to charge my phone, the laptop, all my electrical equipment for actually living in the car, and then have the car battery just for working the car itself. So this is why I need a custom cage. So any kind of roll cage that you can get would just be a generic cage that will pretty much do you for every single safety event possible. But what I actually need is something different. Because I'll be living in this, I don't want bars everywhere for me to wake up in the middle of the night after a scary dream and smack my head on the bar. So I need a custom cage to be able to allow me to sleep one side and have all my spares in it as well. So I need to be able to try design a purpose-built cage that is also very safe and allows me to run in all these different events globally. So that's the boot. So on the roof, we're going to have 4 roof racks. So 4 bars that are going to cross. And on the back, we're going to have all our spare wheels. So I plan to have 4 spare wheels and tires. And then I have a few jerry cans and then a solar panel. And then I hope to get some sort of Starlink or some sort of internet provider, such as Starlink, to be able to have constant internet. So if I have constant internet, then I'm able to keep you guys updated. So that's the plan for the roof. And then the only thing I need to think about is tires and wheels. So already we have like 18s. These are the standard BMW wheels. But I don't know whether I should run 18s or 17s. Let me know what you guys think, but here's my theory. I don't want to break anything. So if I have 18s with a big wheel and a big tire, I have a tendency then to possibly break a diff or shafts. And if I have 17s, there's less pressure on the drivetrain. But they don't look as cool as 18s, so let me know what you guys think. There is a few more things that I'd like to do that I'm trying to keep everything behind the scenes of, such as making the car look cool by like a kit and a livery and colours and all the sponsors and everything. I have such a cool idea in my head. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any suggestions, any tips, let me know in the comments.